So I had been practicing learning reality creation for quite a few years, and I had found myself kind of stuck in a Groundhog's Day, where if you look at my life in 2016, 2018, 2020, 2022, other than the fact that my kids were aging, I was living the exact same year over and over and over. And then I had also found myself where I had gotten to a point where I was living for movement, living for that, the birds before land. And, it had kind of been like if you're trying to manifest a duck and you see a picture of a duck and you're like, oh, it's coming. I see a picture of a duck. Or, you walk past a duck or someone says duck or whatever, but it's years later and you still don't have a duck. So I became like just constantly living for this birds before land and this movement, but not actually having anything. So when this kind of came up, I kind of saw it as, if I put in this much energy and this much time and I really give it my all and nothing changes, then I'm going to go back to believing that there is this man in the sky, a sky daddy, if you will, and that sky daddy just does not favor me. And just accept that and just surrender to that sky daddy. And that's kind of where I was with it right before I joined.
I remember I was chatting with you, Shweta, and we were chatting about just what was going on in my life at that time. And I remember you asked me, do you feel like you're trying to figure this out? Yes, I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to, there's so many things that I didn't understand. Why is it working in this area that seems more benign, and other areas that are more important to me, they're not. I don't see any movement. I don't understand. I'm applying and doing this. I'm following Neville's teachings in this way and doing that. And again, it's all that loop that I wasn't seeing, and all that systems thinking lens that I hadn't picked up yet. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. It was just kind of this inevitable guiding that I just have to be there. There's something about this that's bringing me to this. And the way that it ended up unfolding has been way more eye-opening, expanding, and liberating than I ever even dreamed.
I was not prepared to get to know myself the way that I did. I realized that I think I've spent the better part of 40 years running away from myself. And I think in this program, I actually met myself and was kind of like, oh, wow, she's pretty cool. I actually like her. I want to be her. I don't want to run away from her anymore. I actually want to be her.
Many times on this journey, we've heard the, reality's a simulation concept, and it stays very conceptual. It just stays up here. But when in Brave Mystic training, Shweta, you brought this in a language that grounded it more, that made it actually make sense. And then, we're not just going to keep this as a theory and a concept. This is actually what we're doing physically with the pseudocodes.
I would say the fact that there was space to be all of me while learning, I was not expecting that. And I was not expecting the energy of collaboration that I felt with all the other beings in the cohort. And this feeling of the world feels like a more friendlier place, knowing there are these beings on the same journey.
On the authorship side, that conscious decision, along with the daily prompts that really ground you through nervous system sovereignty into a focused path, where many times on this journey, we're kind of spinning our wheels and we're kind of going wherever we think we need to go. With the guided prompts, along with the nervous system sovereignty, it just focuses everything towards a more compassionate, a more true, a more focused way of really embodying the person that you want to be.
I'm somebody who I always want to dig deeper and define everything for myself, and just kind of what system can I create to make this come alive for my own being, so that I understand it, and to have a safe space to do that while also exploring like elevated language was just amazing. I felt like I didn't have to like dilute or mute any part of my being. And that was extremely important to me. And just knowing that like every day there was like a safe space to be, whether it was in a sacred circle or just in the daily prompts. It just there was this feeling of like you're not alone. You're not alone anymore.
On the serious side, it was really, truly, finally understanding the concept of everyone is you pushed out. Like, I now know what that means. And it was to a point where it was like, I can spend 10 years of my life saying, no one sees me, no one sees me, no one sees me. But I also spent 10 years hiding under the bed with a weighted blanket over my head saying, oh my God, I hope no one sees me. So it was truly understanding what everyone is you pushed out truly means. That was scary because when I did speaking from a systems lens, when we did the diagnostics, and it was kind of like, oh, snap, like, oh, okay, I see now. I got that. Everyone is me pushed out. Okay, here we are. And then on the fun side, to be honest with you, is learning that power. Because there have been a lot of times through this process where I have kind of looked around and been like, ooh, is this happening? Like this is happening, like things are happening. And it's almost like an uncomfortability at first when things start to happen, that you're not really ready for. So yeah, that can be a little scary.
I think what was hard for me was noticing how powerful some of my firewalls were. And I felt like sometimes the prompts just were calling me out, like I couldn't hide. And which is good, but it was also hard to feel like, okay, so I've done some work in the past exploring different teachers, Neville, Goddard, Abraham Hicks, and so forth. And just being like, oh, wow, if I'm actually honest, there are loops that keep playing and firewalls that I keep bumping into. And that invitation to be honest in every day through the prompts, that wasn't easy.
I was realizing that I was having like self-worth issues, and it crept on me, and the prompts and everything was helping me to dissolve all of those, self-worth issues that I was, going through. And I didn't really realize it until, later on, I ended up, dissolving them all.
In terms of the whole course in general, what my main takeaway is, I feel my fascia is more comfortable with the unknown. Like it can trust that the tools are there and that it's okay. Like accepting myself in that moment where I'm like, I don't know what to share in this prompt. I feel like there's a surface level response and that's not why I'm here. And be honest and just speak out, I'm not sure. And then watch the answer reveal itself as the day goes on, for example, or the next day.
I finally understand the wish fulfilled. Never understood that before. Heard it 500 million times. Oh, you got to be in the wish fulfilled. And it's like, okay, but how? What are you talking about? I can honestly say that now I am in it so much and so consistently that when reality shows me otherwise, I'm kind of like, wait, what now? That's not my life. That's not what's going on. And that dissonance is very, very easy to clear up and to get myself back. So I think what I would say is, if you feel it, that you want to do it, what is your hesitation? Your hesitation is probably the reason that you need to be in it.
Every day there's a prompt created that's just so meticulously crafted that the question just burns in the back of your mind like, okay, this is something that you need to look at. And it really starts to open your awareness. It really, really makes you look at yourself and basically the only thing you can change. So it can be hard because a high self-concept includes all the things that you previously didn't like. And maybe you still won't like them very much, but you can look at it in a different way and accept it and be like, you know what, this is fine. And as Sandy was saying, I love to be this person. And I am so excited to make it what I choose to make it, to be me as the author, me in that seat and consciously choosing my path and my perspective.
There's a lot of innovation within the program. And so to me, that represented a blank canvas, not necessarily knowing how I would grow and glow. And then towards the end, I noticed just witnessing so many synchronicities between members of the cohort and in my own life that made me feel just really connected and back to being in my meanness. Say anybody who's wanting to embody and experience more of the real self as a norm in the day-to-day, this is for you.
If you're on the fence, definitely join. But in all seriousness, the community support that you get is unbelievable. There were several moments where I reached out to fellow brave mystics. They were so there for me. If you're doubting that, you're gonna be alone in any kind of way with whatever, Josiah, Shweta, all of us, we're there for you. And I think that's what I gained the most is the community support. We all helped one another and we were loving and we were just so there.
One of my biggest diagnostics through every single diagnostic that I have done is inertia, 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 inertia. So I get frozen. I just freeze. I've really been wanting to start investing, like learning all of this kind of stuff and just getting into it. So I had come up with this dollar amount that I thought would be a good amount that I wanted to start investing on a monthly basis. And it's not really there. So what I did was I used all of the tools, used the pseudocodes, used everything, not for that specific dollar amount. What I did was with the theme of abundance overflow. That's what I focused on, was just, my bills are paid. This is done. I have enough. Everything's good. But I want an overflow so that I can have, I guess fun money, like play money. I want to start learning this kind of stuff. I did all the codes with abundance overflow. Yesterday, I got word that I got a raise. And the raise is the exact to the penny. Like I have screenshots. Like I like evidence. So I have screenshots that it is to the penny, the exact dollar amount that I wanted to increase my salary by, so that now I can start. Now I have the money to do it.
All this is practical. And I could notice the glows gradually in my everyday life. One is relative to travel. I'm somebody who, when I'm out and about in the world on my way home, I usually I'm dysregulated on the way home. I just want to be home already. And it's just an uncomfortable experience. And I've noticed that having the techno-mystical tools as part of this intention that I set before I travel, these tools that I honed and we all honed through the Cohort 1 has just made the travel experience amazing. Like a couple days ago, I was on a return trip that usually I'm like miserable at the end. I was so happy. There was just this nervous system sovereignty. I was very still. I had to wait an hour for something. And in the past, I would have just been like, no, I'm not waiting. I'm going to get the Uber. Don't care how much it costs. I just waited. And having this tool that I could just like play on my phone, that was an intention I'd set the day before, was just incredible. I feel like it adds to that whole, like, the world is a friendly place and all I can do is take care of my own state.
Something that definitely changed for me is that the way that I see my emotions and the way that I see my thoughts and everything now, it's so much lighter. It's so much more free, where you can be okay with just, okay, I'm going through whatever this is now. I'm feeling, I don't know, let's say sad about a certain life area. You know what? That's okay. I can feel sad about it, and I can love myself through that maybe uncomfortable feeling, and give it a new meaning. Specifically, it's it's something that's very powerful, especially if you're, maybe dealing with a relationship area, something like that, that's very emotionally charged. You can feel whatever's going on there, and like truly look at it, and love that, and give it a hug in a metaphorical sense, or even in a like a real sense. You can do that, and really, it really helps enormously when you truly accept and love it and integrate it through a vision of authorship, through a lens of simulation mastery, and knowing about all these tools and the loops and everything. It really helps you stop being so hard on yourself. You can release all this, I need for this to happen, I need for this to change, and truly just change yourself, and then everything starts kind of flowing from there naturally.
If something in you is feeling a sparkle and a sense of like, this is the next logical step, or also the feeling of like, I'm ready, or feeling like I know and I want to feel more of the magic in my everyday life, I would say that that's a huge one. That's what the experience of the 99 days gifted to me.
You encounter a training like BMT exactly when you're ready. The call itself is part of the training. It's the call to authorship. It's the call to step up and to stand a little taller in your life, be a little bolder, and certainly to be braver. If you heard yourself or saw yourself in any of the sharing of the Brave Mystic graduates today, maybe that's your soul saying that you're ready. Authorship begins the moment that we remember that the pen is in our hands. And Brave Mystic training is your container to train that remembrance. It's a focused container of space. This training will take us from September into early December, right before the holidays. This is your opportunity to focus. It's like back to school. It's back to mystery school. It's your opportunity to focus on the one skill that really is the skill of life, authorship. 14 weeks, you're focused on authorship, emerging in December, ready to take on 2026 with state endurance, with a new practice of nervous system sovereignty, with a deepened, refined, and enriched awareness of who you are, and walking that path that entire time, not alone, but with a cohort of mystics who are holding that field with you. All of the relevant links are in the description. And if you are ready to hop into Brave Mystic training, go ahead and secure your seat now. And we're happy to welcome you on the other side. All right, my friends, that's all for today. Till next time, imagine wisely. And we'll see you all again in the next.